You know, in 1950s, when the Rebbe started the whole idea of sending out Chabad rabbis, take a young couple, they should leave their religious community, leave Crown Heights basically, go move to a place, a country, to a community that doesn't have kosher food, doesn't have Jewish education for the children. To do what? To spread Judaism, to share their Judaism with young people especially, to establish a preschool, to establish a school. And in that time, this idea was very hard to digest. People didn't understand what's going on, what he wants from them. The parents who just survived the Holocaust, talking about the 50s, didn't want the kids, established homes, families, didn't want the kids to live to who knows where. The kids, also the young people were afraid. They're going to go to a place they don't know where and what. No friends, no family. On top of it, nobody even knew what it means to share Judaism. What are you supposed to do? Today it's a cookie cutter. Every Chabad rabbi goes out, he knows exactly what he needs to do. In the beginning, nobody ever spread Judaism to unaffiliated Jews, to assimilated Jews. Even further than that, there is all types of Jews. Nobody knew what to do with it. And more than that, to leave the Rebbe, no young boy wants to leave the Rebbe. Everybody wants to be by the Rebbe as much as possible. To leave, and it's not for 1 year, for 2 years, it's for life. They say Chabad rabbi is like a nail without a head. You cannot pull him out. You nail him in and finished. You can imagine the Rebbe did not have too many customers who were ready to do it. And he spoke about it a year after a year. Yeah, 1 year, one. In 1958, was a young couple got married, and they were ready to go, enthusiastic, ready to go any minute. His name was Rabbi Gershon Garelik, and his wife's name was Basi, and they were ready to go. The Rebbe officiated their wedding, and from the day after the wedding, they wrote to the Rebbe every day, "We are ready, Rebbe, please send us to be your emissaries, wherever you want, anywhere in the world, we're ready to go." Every day they wrote the same letter that they're ready to go. 2 months passed or so. The Rebbe's secretary is meeting him outside of 770. He tells him, by the way, you know, the Rebbe wants to send you somewhere in Europe. Think about it, it's 1958, that he's asking where. He tells him, what it makes a difference? It doesn't make a difference, where? Somewhere in Europe. And this rabbi was a very sharp man, tells the Rebbe secretary, look, I don't have I'm not an American citizen. I need to know to which country to go to work on my papers and passports and everything. Then he answers them, he tells them, for example, Italy. Fine, in the end of 1958, they worked on the paper, everything was ready, they are leaving. Before they going to the airport, the Rebbe had by the Rebbe a private audience. The Rebbe gave them directions and blessings and everything. Before they left, the Rebbe takes out a Tanya, and he tells them, you know, Tanya is the Bible of Chabad, the philosophy of Hasidus, the book that Chabad lives by. He gives them the Tanya. It was written by the first Chabad Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe, Reb Shneor Zalman of Leadi. He gives them a Tanya, and he tells them, you know, it could be somebody on the plane who want a Tanya, will be a Jew there who's looking for a Tanya, he'll give it to him. Fine. He walks out, they're going to the airport, they're getting on the plane, they're sitting down, everybody's buckling up. He's not buckling up. This young man is going to look for a Jew to give him the Tanya. The Rebbe gave him a mission to give the Tanya to somebody on the plane. He's looking for the Jew. And the stewards are getting upset with him. Sit down. The plane is on the tarmac. He didn't take off yet. Everybody is to be buckled. He doesn't care. He's looking for a Jew to give him a Tanya. He could not find a Jew. He gets into first class. He's looking there, no Jew. He comes back, he sits down, tells his wife, the first mission the Rebbe gave us, and we failed already. He tells the story many years later. He and his wife were crying. They cannot even fulfill the first smallest thing the Rebbe gave them. The plane took off. No, after 10 minutes in the air or whatever, they tell you can unbuckle. As they unbuckle, some tall, handsome man comes over. He looks at him, he tells them, "Are you a Chabadnik?" He says, "Yes." "Maybe you have a Tanya." The guy was in shock. The rabbi, he tells him, "Sure, yeah, I have a Tanya." He gives him the Tanya, but then he asks him, "Tell me, why you were looking for a Tanya?" He says, "Listen, a few weeks ago, I was by the Lubavitcher Rebbe. I'm not a Chabadnik. I came to visit them. And he asked me what I'm doing, what's my occupation. I said, I'm flying to Europe, to Paris. The plane was from New York to Paris and from Paris to Europe. I'm flying to Paris for business." The Rebbe told me, "Look, on plane you have a lot of free time. You should have a book in your hand. You should learn some Torah. And even better, you should have a Tanya." Tells the Rebbe, "I'm going to find a Tanya on the plane." The Rebbe says, "You never know. It might be some Chabadnik there. He will give you a Tanya." This Rabbi Gerelik used to tell the story many years later. He used to say he learned one lesson. And if the Rebbe gives you a job, a mission, it's going to be worked out, be fulfilled. You don't have to make noise. You didn't have to turn the plane upside down. You didn't have to make everybody upset that you're running around like a Meshuggah now and looking for a Jew. Just sit down. The mission will come to you. But you just have to be the right vessel, the right conduit to do what's supposed to be accomplished. Over the years, this Rabbi, Gerelik, and his wife became an icon of Chabad rabbis. They were from the very first rabbis who came out to Italy. He went to Milan. He became the rabbi of the Ashkenazi community in Milan. And he was the head of Chabad in Italy. And he built up Chabad there over the 60 years. He passed away this past Saturday. I'm speaking about him, first of all, because he's known all over Chabad. Number two, because he later brought my uncle to be a rabbi in Rome, and my cousin. Some of you met my cousin many years ago when he was a yeshiva student. He was here before we had the building even. And he's also a rabbi in Rome. And on top of it, my brother, my older brother, is his son-in-law. My brother, who is in El Paso, is his son-in-law. This parsha of this week is the parsha that many people think it's a very boring parsha. It's called Terumah. It's speaking about building a temple. Details. God says, "Build me a temple." And he says, what he needs to, I want you to give donations. Gold, silver, copper, it goes on it list, and then it goes what kind of furniture to build the ark and to build, and then how the building should be in the wood and the details upon details. And over the years, and even this week, people ask me, what do I do with this parsha? What does this mean to me? We don't have a temple. We don't build temples now. We don't build a temple in Jerusalem. And that was a portable sanctuary in the desert. What it means to us. Hasidus, always the job of the Hasidic philosophy is to apply every verse in the Bible, every story to our personal life, to make it real. How is it applicable and relevant in 2021 to you today? Then the Rebbe says, God is asking us to build a temple. Yeah, not just a temple in Jerusalem, a temple in your heart, right here. In your own heart should be a temple. You should be the temple to God. What do you need to do for this? You need to donate what? Gold, silver, and copper. He says, we don't mean gold, silver, and copper in the literal sense. God doesn't want from you your gold, silver, and copper. Yeah, we need your gold, silver, and copper. Don't get me wrong. We need money for synagogues and for buildings, for all the good things, for yeshivas and for camps and for JCCs, for everything, for federation, for everything. But more than that, God wants gold, silver, a spiritual gold, silver, and cup. What does this mean? Gold means your intellectual faculties, your thought, your chokhmah, bina, and dat, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. You should understand God. You should identify with the message of God. Silver, in Hebrew, it's called kesef. Kesef means, has also another meaning, longing in Hebrew. Your love to God, your heart should be to God too, not just your mind. Not enough to understand God. We need to feel Him, to love Him, to fear Him, to serve God with your heart. And kappa represents action. These are the three things God is asking from us. Then there is another list of things. One of them is acacia wood. You know, there's Acacia Drive in Cleveland. Acacia wood. It's called Atzei Shittim in Hebrew, Shittim wood. Shittim, that's the name of the wood. In the Bible, Shittim is also not just a name of trees, it's a name of a place. Shittim is a place where the Jewish people met the Moabite girls. The Moabite girls seduced them, and they run after them, and then they made them worship idols. It was a plague, it was bad news. The Jewish people, before they entered Israel, they worshipped idols. Then Shittim is a name of wood, Shittim is a name of a place. Then the Talmud tells us there is another meaning to the word Shittim in Hebrew. Shittim comes from the word shtuyot. Some of you know a little bit Hebrew. Shtuyot means nonsense, fallacy, stupidity, foolishness, all of the above. The Talmud says a person never sins only if the spirit of folliness, of nonsense, of stupidity takes him over. Think about it. So many times people do some stupid things, and then they regret it for the rest of their life. It could be in money, it could be in disobeying the law, it could be in family life, it could be in so many things, drugs, alcohol, whatever. And then people tell him, wow, how you did such a stupid thing? He says, I don't know what happened to me. And he himself tells himself, I can't believe I did it. You say something to somebody and you later regret it forever and ever. And why it happens to you? Because the spirit of foolishness took over. Something beneath logic happened to you. Then the Medrash says, God says, may the Shittim wood atone for the Shittim idol worshipping and running around with the Moabite girls. How exactly is the Shittim wood atoning? Take wood to the temple. What does this mean in my life? If gold, silver, and copper is, we said what it means in my life. What are the Shittim wood means in my life? Just as there is beneath logic, then there is above logic. You can do mitzvahs above logic. Usually people serve God with logic. It makes sense, I'll do it, I can do it, I'm not going out of my way, I'm not straining myself. Doing things above logic means going crazy. In a spiritual way, in a good way. To do mitzvahs even when it doesn't make sense. When everybody tells you that you are crazy. And the Rebbe brings an example from a story in the Talmud. The Talmud tells us a story about a rabbi. You know, there is a mitzvah to bring joy to a bride and a groom. When a couple gets married, it's a mitzvah to go to the wedding and to dance for them. It's not just I go to the wedding, I was invited, there is good food, and there is alcohol, and there is beautiful music, and I'm dancing. Why not? I'm having a good time. There is a mitzvah to go to celebrate, to make a couple getting married, to make them happy. Many times you see in many communities, there is a couple who don't have anybody, they don't know anybody. Total strangers come there and dance their night away just to make the couple happy because it's a big mitzvah. Was a rabbi, in the Talmud, there's a story about Rab Shmuel Bar Yitzchok, that he used to go to weddings, a great rabbi, an old rabbi, to go and juggle myrtles in front of the bride. And all the rabbis told them, you're embarrassing us. You're such an important rabbi, you're embarrassing you. You're behaving like a juggler. What is wrong with you? You're embarrassing yourself, you're embarrassing the Torah, you're embarrassing God. The other rabbi used to criticize him. Rabbi Zera used to run away, hiding from embarrassment. How dear is doing it. But the rabbi who did, they didn't care. He used to do it every wedding. When he died, Rabbi Zera came to his funeral and he saw, I don't know if everybody saw, only he saw, that there is a pillar of fire surrounding his bed, his coffin. And this is something that's happened to very, very special righteous people. One in generations. That Rabbi Zera said, his foolishness served them right. His stupidity, above logic behavior that looks like he's crazy. That's why he gets such a welcome from God. God loved it, the above logic behavior. Being crazy, it's like the rabbi who went to Italy. Everybody told him, you're going to Italy. You don't know the language. He was speaking Yiddish and Russian. His wife was speaking English and Yiddish. He was a Russian boy, came to Israel, he came to America. She was a girl from Pittsburgh who grew up in a Chabad family. And they were going to Italy. They don't know the language. They don't know the mentality. They don't have friends there. They don't have anything. You're crazy, everybody told him. Chabad people told him he's crazy. I remember when my brother went to Alaska, people outside of 770 told him, you're going to Alaska? You're out of your mind. You know, everyone in our life has this experience. You start to buy kosher food, kosher meat, let's say. Your spouse tells you, you're crazy. Your parents tell you, what happened to you? Suddenly you became religious. Your friend tell you, you have a midlife crisis. If you're 4 years old, you have your 4-year-old crisis. If you're 60, it's a 60. And they tell you, you have to see a psychiatrist. You have to see somebody. To a point that you start to believe that you're really crazy. Something is wrong with you. My friend, being crazy in a Jewish way is not a bad idea. The reason the Jewish people survived is only because crazy people. How do you think the state of Israel was established? Because of normal people. Normal people would never build up a state. They were meshugoyim, were ready to go all the way. Give their life for their idea. It happened. The Jewish people wouldn't survive if not for the people who go above logic. In every one of us need a little bit of the shittim wood, a little bit of craziness above logic, the good craziness, the positive one, the not beneath logic, but the above logic. That's what we all need. Thank you.